Today, on The Joyful Wallet, we're going to talk about money and money problems. Everybody's had them at some point. I need to tell you about mine. In 2010, I had an aha moment. One of those life-changing experiences I will never forget. I was standing in a pawn shop here in Longview, Texas, pawning my little something item, trying to get $125 to pay the electric bill. What is wrong with that picture? I'm not a bad person. I got a job. I'm working. As a matter of fact, I owned my own business. Pastored a small church on the side, tried to do the right thing, but I was living a foolish life with my money. I grew up that way. If we had $100, we spent it. We found some place to go. Never saved a dime through all those years. Made money, spent money. As Rob Dyrdek says, it's the age-old cycle of the poor. It doesn't matter if you make millions of dollars or thousands of dollars. If you spend everything you make, you both end up in the same place, just on a different scale of chaos. So my money was out of control. Things happen. Life happens. Emergencies happen. And it's not if, it's when. When was the last time you had a normal month? Something always happens. Where do you turn when there's a problem, when there's an emergency? If you got nothing saved up, you have to turn somewhere. Credit cards, relatives, friends, payday loan companies, pawn shops. The list goes on and on and on. That feeling of being broke is overwhelming. The anxiety and the just robbing you of the ability to function some days. The feeling of being broke is a horrible place to be. But being in debt is even worse. It's insult to injury. When we got into trouble with emergency situations, what did I do? I used my credit cards. I maxed them all out at one point. I had 5 credit cards maxed out. Could barely even make the minimum payments on these things. It just snowballed. It got worse and worse. I got behind on my IRS quarterly payments. Things just began to stack and stack and stack, and I couldn't see a way out. I was so discouraged. The IRS put a lien against my house. They froze our bank account. I didn't have any place to turn for extra cash. Here I was, 55 years old, and living a fool's life with my money. That day in the pawn shop, I made myself a promise. I said, this will never happen again. On the way home, I realized I needed to be my own pawn shop. Borrow from myself. So I started saving. I don't know if I heard this from some financial guru on the radio or if it just stuck in my head from my mom telling me this. I had to save my way out of this problem. And I started. I mean, like literally, this is embarrassing to say. I started saving change. Eventually, I started saving dollar coins. Do you realize that a 2-pound Folgers coffee can filled with dollar coins is over $1,000? And that's not chump change. As I saved and saved, I began to get excited because I wasn't vulnerable anymore. Now, I still had all this debt. So what I did, once I got 1,000 or so saved up for emergencies, I turned that saving vengeance that I had onto the debt and started paying it down, paying it down, paying it down. It doesn't happen overnight. It won't happen overnight. This is not a quick fix. This is not an easy out. This is the way to get out and stay out. You have to change your way of thinking. You have to realize and find just as much joy in saving money as you do in spending it. Because what you're doing is you are creating wealth. You're creating something that will protect you from the emergencies and the struggles and the unforeseen things of life. I saved my way out of debt. It took me almost 8 years. Here it is, 2024. That moment was 2010. Almost 8 years to get out of debt. But since then, the savings continue to grow. The peace of mind, knowing that here I am at 69 years old, never having saved anything, at least I'm not broke. You can do this too. I tell you, you can do it. Start today. Make yourself the promise. You're not going to live like this anymore. You're not going to continue to go into debt. You're not going to continue to borrow money. You're not going to continue to go down that path. You're going to stop, start saving, and work your way slowly out of this problem. We started a support group called the Joyful Wallet. You can find us on Facebook. Please reach out to us, reach out to somebody. Find people who can encourage you to start saving and get out of debt and really have financial peace. You can do this. I promise you can.